I'm just going to cook some steak. No one comment on the type of pan I'm using. I'm just going to sear it in this pan. What's melting there is some lamb fat, kind of some lard, I guess. It's from when I made the spare ribs. And I just keep all the fat and I use that to fry. So then once I've cooked the steak, I'll just put the broth in the pan, and I'm going to show you just a way that I do that. Very basic flavors, I guess. Hold on. Literally just going to be probably 1.5 minutes on each side, just to warm the outside. And it's flipped over. I'm not trying to make a crust or anything. You can do that if that's what you want to do. I like to kind of get the fat sort of warmed through and a bit melty. So that's really it. It is so quick. Let that rest. And then I'll slice that into slices with scissors. I like to use scissors instead of a knife. And I'll show you something else now. Some of the broth. I'm actually putting aside the seal of fat because I'll use that to cook meat in the future. Let's see how this is a jelly. This is the gelatin. This is how bone broth is when you've got all that wibbly wobbly jelly. And I'm just going to put that in the pan. And it melts pretty much instantly, of course, into a nice liquid. Out of the freezer, lemon wedges. Salt, because I didn't put any in with meat broth when it cooked. And then as it's going to come up to the boil, so it goes in sizzling, but it's cooled down. I've put frozen lemon in there. What you can do, don't use much because ideally you're just having the broth. But if you really feel like you don't want this plain sort of stock-like soup, this is coconut cream. Okay, and that's just 1 tablespoon. But that's plenty. It'll go a long way. And it'll give you a little something interesting to have. I'm advising that you don't put chili and tamarind and all the usual delicious things that you might put into this type of broth to make it a certain way. The only other thing, don't even know if I've got any left. Look at this, I don't use it much. I might suggest you could do a little bit of is put a bit of fish stock. That just gives it that richness and that layered flavour. But that's really, if you just can't handle just having your plain broth with salt, then just try it. This just gives it a sort of a Thai cuisine style. I'm just going to slice up my beef while that's coming back up to the boil. So there's my sliced beef. And then this is coming up to the boil. I'm just going to pour that over, and you could put some fresh parsley or coriander if that's your jam. But you know, we're just trying to eat very simply. We're not overdoing spices and flavorings. We're not irritating our gut. But you know, I understand that you might need something, and just try, rather than using a whole can of coconut milk, just see how you go with a tablespoon. And I think you'll find it quite delicious. So I'm going to pour that over there, and that's my meal. At least it's sort of, you know, round one. What I will generally do is I'll eat, and then, because you'll think, oh, that's not very much for the day, but you know, in an hour I know that I might want something else. Anyway, this is a 6-minute video. It was going to be very quick. So look, that's just one way with the oxtail bone broth. I've already had the meat from the broth. That's why I'm using steak now. I ate the beef meat when I first made it. I ate it that night, and now I've got the 4 jars of broth. So this is the second jar that I've used, and it's obviously very filling, and it's actually very satiating, especially with the nice rare steak. Yeah, speak to you later. Enjoy your meals. Bye.